All right, I'm gonna take a spin here at Sharpening Zach's Santoku, or as Spangler would call it, a pork chop knife, because that's what Spangler uses his Santoku for, is to mash pork chops after they come out of the air fryer. So we're gonna go through and try to find the angle. There's some chips on here, but I don't think they need any extraordinary help to be removed. And just so you guys know what I'm doing with this, I'm looking to find the angle. I do that by drawing a line on here with a Sharpie, and then looking to see at what angle it all gets removed. And the reason you do that is because, multiple reasons, but the reason why I do it is it preserves the longevity of the knife for as long as possible. It also makes sharpening much faster because you're only removing, so those two things have one thing in common, which is removing the least amount of steel possible. And this one, can't tell. Yeah, I think that might be okay. So we're at about 20-ish degrees. Check it with the angle cube, but it's 20 or less. Tell by looking at it there. Okay, so now we're gonna go through and we're gonna apex the knife. Sorry that the camera jig is bouncing all over the place there. This is all a learning process. This knife is a pretty common family of knives. This is a Chicago Cutlery. This is one of the higher end knives, or the nicer knives that you'll find at a Target. That's not to say that it's, elite tier or anything like that. But as far as knives go, they're pretty serviceable. If you are looking for a set of Chicago Cutlery and you don't want to pay like any money for it, I find Chicago Cutlery knives every single time I either go to the thrift store. So if I go to either St. Vinny's or the Goodwill, every time I go there, I'm able to come across a Chicago Cutlery. And most of the time they are not in good shape, but they do sharpen up pretty well. But that is actually not apexing. So, well, it looked like the right angle. I'm not feeling a burr, so we're gonna measure real quick. We're kind of on the clock here because we got a live stream to do in less than 10 minutes, so we might not get this one done. So I'm pulling the angle in a bit, which shouldn't help, but we're already at like 22. And that just seems way too wide of an angle for this knife. It's currently 89 degrees here in the shop. Have to have the air conditioning off in order to make the video content. I'm sure that'll be one of those things I look back at in life and be like, oh, that was folly. Yeah, not getting one anyway. Okay, let's try 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. No angle, no burr anywhere. Okay, let's try that again. Let's see where we're at. We're at 20. He said that he hadn't sharpened this with like a pull through that would, truly, pervert the angle or anything like that. Let's try 22. Sounds like it's cutting. tiniest of those. Okay, so we're gonna go 1/2 degree out. Make sure if you're watching this video, please subscribe to the channel and follow Yellowstone Knife on Instagram. You can see the whole collection. Took a video of Zach's entire knife collection here. It's quite colorful, quite colorful. He's got the worst Cuisinart knives I've ever seen. In fact, they might be banned from the sharpening bench in the future because they are just absolutely awful. But he knew that. He sent them in because he just wanted to get a kick out of watching me sharpen them, I guess. But he got them for like $9 10 years ago. So I guess, I mean, 10 years ago, $9, probably like $30 today. That's probably a little bit much. Probably $17 today. Can't do that math that quick in my head, but anyway. How are we doing here? 7 minutes left. Let's see. Quite a bit. Nice bird forming though. So this is a complete reprofile, and most of the time, by the time someone gets their knives sharpened, or they heard that knife sharpening was a thing, which many people, they just don't know that is something that can be done and should be done, that regular maintenance needs to occur. Most of them are about in this bad a shape, and this is pretty bad. But I also know Zach is eyeing this really sick Shun knife, and so if this gets him by until he gets that Shun, which I think he'll absolutely love, as long as he doesn't put it in the dishwasher or use it on anything other than a wood cutting board, or drop it, or try to pry anything with it, which you shouldn't do with just about any knife, but Japanese knives are notorious for chipping out because the seal is so strong. Because it's strong, it lacks, what's that called? Flexibility, I guess. There's a better term for it. But it lacks flexibility, so it allows them to get insanely sharp. But the trade-off is that they are more fragile. No, they're not like a fine piece of pottery or something like that. They're still a tool that can be used. They just need to, be cared for, and also they need to, in my opinion, they need to be maintained more regularly. Using a hone, or just get them sharpened with a very regular frequency. So 3 to 12 months, depending on how often you use them. But don't let them go too far, because then they are kind of a pain. And by the way, this is a hone. You need to have a ceramic one. So Zach, if you're watching this, if you get that Shun, you have to upgrade to a ceramic hone. You can't use the metal stick, as you call it. 5 minutes left. Okay. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Most of the time, I don't count. I'm just doing it by feel. But if I'm sitting here talking and things like that, I want to make sure that I have a certain level of consistency. So that's when you'll hear me just start counting. And that's just to make sure that I got a decent number of strokes on each side. So let's see. We talked about Chicago Cutlery. Decent knife. You can find them secondhand store for like $1 a piece. That's what I would recommend. I would not. I wouldn't go out and spend. I wouldn't recommend anybody buy any full knife set. That's what a lot of people that end up getting these they end up getting the full knife set, which is cool if you're just starting out. You don't know what you want. You can spend, you know, $100-200 and get a decent knife set. And these will do the job. You just, they're not going to stay that sharp for that long. But I always recommend people curate a collection over time. Grab my rag. Because that allows you to get better stuff, find out what you really want and need. And yeah, you don't got to go crazy like me where you have, man, I don't know, 30, 40, 50, I should count one day, kitchen knives. Oh, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. And this thing is going to be insanely sharp when we're done with it here. We've got like 3 minutes left to do, so hopefully stropping doesn't take that long. But feeling it, I'm not feeling any wavers in the burr, which means that they're still going to be there. But if you can feel them with the stones, you're better off spending more time with the stones instead of trying to get them out with the strop. The stones cut much, much more effectively than the strop does. Let's wipe this down again. And the wiping it down is more to preserve my stones than anything, to keep the larger particles of the diamonds from infecting the next highest grit stone, so you don't have, like, you know, a 200 piece of diamond stuck on in this case a 1500. Just doesn't make for a good experience. And I've talked about this before in other videos. When I'm doing real high-end custom stuff or someone requests a polish job, I have a completely different set of stones that are meticulously kept from contamination for those, but those are few and far between because I charge a small fortune to do that because it is a pain in the butt. And it's not something that I particularly care for. So this guy is done on there. Let's move this out of the way. Check the frame here. It's gonna be a little low for the strap. Go here. We're gonna strap with the green polish, or the green compound. And with this, we're going the full length. That's why you'll see I put it at 2 angles. The angle relative to the leather, and then an angle so that I can get the whole knife across the leather. You could do like this and then go back like that. That works too. I have found that for my purposes, this works pretty well. And I really like straps, this strap particular, because it has the handle, so I can adjust and kind of use 2 different sets of angles with it. But to each their own. The bench based ones are good as well. Okay, so that's done. Let's grab a piece of U-line catalog. And when we're using the U-line, we're just looking to see if there's any parts of the knife that need, that have imperfections in them, and this one does not. See? So yeah, not a terribly expensive knife, but it does a fine job. It gets, oh man, it's so humid in here that as I touch the paper, the condensation kind of accumulates on the paper. It makes it very difficult to cut. But no, this is plenty sharp. You know, you see it tearing there. Cool. So that one is done. Thanks for that, Zach. And we'll be going to the live stream here in just a couple of minutes to show off your pocket knives.